When I lived in Argentina, I did not miss out on seeing any of the movies I wanted to see in the theaters. All the shows I wanted to see were playing to packed audiences in Buenos Aires in English with Spanish subtitles. Now, here in the US, me and Jonathan, who speaks Spanish, recently went to go see the new Wolverine and Deadpool movie at the theater. We were able to go because this specific theater had designated showings of the movie with the original English audio along with Spanish subtitles. I often remind my clients that some people may have different aspects of their identity, but their dreams, desires, fears, and frustrations aren't any different from people they've grown accustomed to serving. People with disabilities still like pizza. People with larger body sizes still like to wear cute clothes. And people who speak other languages still need tools and support to grow their businesses. The entertainment industry has long leaned into the reality that people who speak other languages still want to watch the latest Marvel movie, Bridgerton season, or House of the Dragon episode at the same time as other people around the world. As such, they bake global audience needs into the budget and development timelines so everyone can watch the content in their local language when the shows or the movies premiere. Now, an increasing number of brands are embracing the idea that engaging their ideal customers who speak other languages is an effective way to attract and convert more customers. So after this short break, I'm going to walk you through how to engage consumers that don't speak your brand's primary language. Did you know that most businesses only use 20% of their data? That's like reading a book with most of the pages torn out or paying for a coffee that's just 1/5 full. Point is, you miss a lot unless you use HubSpot. Their customer platform gives you access to the data you need to grow your business. The insights trapped in emails, call logs, and transcripts, all that unstructured data that makes all the difference. Because when you know more, you grow more. And when you get a full cup of coffee, you can do more too. But I digress. Visit HubSpot.com today. A common misconception about engaging consumers who speak different languages is that all you have to do is translate your existing content. Now, I remember thinking that same thing too, but that's not exactly the approach you need to take. The journeys consumers take to choose which brand to buy from are often more complex than it is for a typical media consumer. But that's not always true. The journeys that consumers take to choose which brand to buy from, including which brand to buy from in your product category, are often more complex than it is for a typical media consumer. There are other factors to consider. Federico Gagliardoni is the co-founder of Macenas, a media company that works to connect brands with Spanish speakers in the US. He told me that a common misconception brands have about engaging Spanish speakers is that all they have to do is translate the content. Definitely have a listen to that full conversation with Federico on how to effectively reach Spanish speakers in the US, including the role of Spanglish. It's in episode number 116, How to Authentically Engage Hispanic Consumers with Federico Gagliardone. I'll drop a link to it for the show notes for you so you can access that easily. All right, so there are 3 core elements to including an effective multilingual content strategy that goes beyond translation and localization and that attracts and converts more customers for your brand. Let's walk through them. The first up is customer intimacy. In marketing, one-size-fits-all approaches aren't really effective. I'm constantly reminding my clients that business is about belonging. Consumers will feel like they belong with you whenever you demonstrate that you see them, understand them, and have created products, content, and experiences with them in mind. Taking content that was designed for one market and then plopping it in front of another market rarely yields the stellar results you desire. Salim Damani is a senior growth manager at HubSpot who focuses on the French-speaking market. He told me, in my experience, native blog posts created with a regional SEO approach bring 4 times more traffic on average than localized blog posts. Now, this short audio clip gives a specific example as to why a simple localization approach didn't yield stellar results.
We know search is different. User behavior is different. And it's surprising to see how much. I think just from the phrasing, a lot of English titles are often based on like mistakes to avoid.
Yeah.
That's something we had a hard time with, and we conducted a study internally, the result of which was very clear. Like, the French audience doesn't make mistakes in their mind. So anything that starts with the mistakes you should stop making is not going to get the traffic. And
Yeah.
that needs to be rephrased into X advices to get that result.
Yeah.
So the same then is going to be true about how we convert the content, the copy we want to use on the CTAs. And I think it speaks to how much freedom is required for international marketing teams to be successful.
Yeah.
If we look at going international only through the lens of localization, it is so restrictive.
Yeah.
It's as you said, it's the easy path, but we're not looking at the return on investment that we could get from having a truly native approach.
Right. So do this. Start with the customer you want to serve. Let insights about them guide your strategy. As you're going through this process, spend time discovering what their dreams, desires, fears, and frustrations are. You can uncover common questions they have versus the ones you may be accustomed to getting in other markets. As you're doing this, you'll uncover common questions that they have versus the one that you may be accustomed to getting in other markets. Also, avoid focusing your efforts on figuring out what you need to do to quote unquote make it work with what you already have for people who speak other languages, either in the same or different markets. Then create inclusive and authentic content that speaks to the audience you want to reach in a manner and format that fits their preferences. You can hear my full discussion with Salim in episode number 127, How to Create a Multilingual Content Strategy with Salim Damani. I'll drop a link to that in the show notes for you as well. All right, after this short break, we're going to walk through the second and third components of an effective multilingual content strategy for your brand. All right. Okay, I've got another podcast recommendation for you. It's Augmenters, hosted by Julie Meyer and Jimmy Edgerton, and it's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. So on this show, Julie and Jimmy dive into mentoring and explore ways to augment and refresh the mentoring environment. They're using 8 core principles that weave relevant spirit guides and diverse guests, and Julie and Jimmy use a lot of humor and practical tips to help mentors and mentees get further, faster together. There's so many great episodes to tune into for this show, but one that you might find especially interesting is their latest episode, number 120, Mentoring Across Gender, Men as Allies and Mentors. Listen to Augmenters wherever you get your podcasts. All right, the second thing that needs to be a part of your multilingual content strategy are customer journeys. Don't assume that the journey customers take as part of your multilingual content strategy will be the same as it is in the primary language your brand operates in. What you find about consumers during the customer intimacy phase may lead you to create a different journey. For instance, while people in one market may be keen to sign up to get a lead magnet to take the next step forward with you, consumers in another market may have a strong preference to sign up for a call with you. Build your funnel based on the needs and preferences of the people you want to serve, rather than just duplicating what has worked for people in other markets in the past. Another consideration is that you may find that you need different assets and possibly in a different order in your overarching funnel. So do this. Focus your energy on creating a minimum viable funnel with the content you need to attract and convert consumers first. During this customer intimacy phase, you'll likely identify relevant keywords your ideal consumer is searching for in their preferred language. A smart way to get started with that initial funnel is to create content based on those keywords with the call to action to take the next step forward. This will help you communicate in a way that is most aligned with your consumers' preferences in that market. With a baseline funnel in place, you can start to expand outward to create more content and resources that help your desired audience convert. All right, so the third component of an effective multilingual content strategy are friction-free customer experiences. Now, when it comes to developing your multilingual content strategy, it's important to think about the customer experience you will deliver to the people you want to serve. If you've been around this podcast for any length of time, you've heard me talk about customer experience and how important it is. Friction harms conversions, and too often, brands deliver friction-filled experiences to people who have identities that are often different from the ones they traditionally serve. For instance, when one of my clients was trying to reach Spanish speakers in the US, I advised them to create separate social media accounts for English and Spanish speakers to deliver a better experience for all. That way, you won't have consumers who would click through an ad in Spanish and land on an English-speaking social media account. Multiple languages on one account are confusing and cause unnecessary friction for consumers. Samsung features separate social media accounts for the different countries it operates in. There's a main Samsung page, as well as pages for various local markets, including Samsung España, Ecuador, and Egypt. Another point of consideration in your multilingual content strategy is creating useful entry points to find your content. For instance, a while back, I did some user testing with a Spanish-speaking consumer who typed in a brand's name into Google and clicked through to the brand's website, which was a landing page from there. So he landed on the brand's English-speaking version of the page, and there weren't any links that enabled him to translate the content into Spanish. So there was friction. When he went to that same brand's homepage directly, the website automatically changed the content to the Spanish language version of the website, which provided much less friction. However, that approach doesn't come without its challenges either. For instance, say a Spanish-speaking consumer uses a shared computer where the settings aren't in Spanish. The automatic change of language wouldn't happen, so it's important to provide options in the navigation for consumers to easily choose their preferred language. So do this. Conduct user testing for the consumer experiences you're designing with people in the markets who speak the language you want to start operating in. That testing will highlight any friction in the customer experience you're planning. You can use that feedback to ensure you develop and organize your content. This is a crucial step to make sure that your content meets the needs of the people you want to serve in a manner that delivers as little friction as possible for them. All right, so it's time to activate a multilingual content strategy for your brand. You can attract and convert more of your ideal customers. You just have to start engaging them with a well thought out content strategy in their preferred language. Now, don't make the common mistake of trying to convert customers who speak other languages with the least effort possible. Instead, focus your resources on developing a deeper degree of intimacy with the community you want to reach. Then use that insight to develop a thoughtful customer journey and friction-free customer experience to win their attention and earn their loyalty. I'm curious to know, have you implemented a multilingual content strategy yet? And if so, how are you going about doing it? Let's continue the conversation in the DMs, over email, on social. I'd love to know how you are tackling this opportunity for your brand. Also, please do share this episode with your friends, your colleagues, and your network. It really does go a long way towards helping more people discover the show and with sharing the knowledge about helping more brands operate in a manner that's more inclusive, attract and grow a bigger, more diverse, and fiercely loyal customer base. And speaking of doing that, are you getting the Inclusion and Marketing newsletter? If not, really, what are you even doing? Each week, I send news, resources, insights, commentary, all kinds of juicy good stuff to help you attract and retain a bigger, more diverse, and fiercely loyal customer base. Go to inclusionandmarketing.com/newsletter to get signed up, and I will also drop a link to that in the show notes for you so you can access it easily. Until next time, remember, everyone deserves to have a place where they belong. Let's use our individual and collective power to ensure more people feel like they do. Thanks so much for listening. Talk to you soon.